Hello and welcome. So, given a circle below, we're told that the measure of angle CAB is 46 degrees. All right, and we want to find four pieces of information. To do this, just quick reminder on central and inscribed angles. Remember, a central angle is formed at the center of a circle, which we don't have the center here, or at least it's not explicitly stated. Right? And any angle that's a central angle is going to match whatever arc it has. So, for example, if the central angle is 20 degrees, the measure of the arc also 20 degrees. Right? Vice versa, if the arc is 20 degrees, so is the angle. All right, inscribed angles are angles that are formed at the edge on the circumference of the circle. Right, so any point on the circle and you have an angle formed there, that's an inscribed angle. Okay, now the arc from an inscribed angle has a double half relationship. So if we double the angle, we get the arc. Or if you half the arc, we get the angle. So if the angle is 30 degrees, double that, you get 60 degrees. There's the measure of the arc. Or vice versa, if you have the arc, you know the arc is 60 degrees, we know half of that is the angle, 30 degrees. Okay, so if we're looking at this thing, if we know 46 is our angle, notice it's on the edge of the circle. This is an inscribed angle. So if we look further, right, we'll notice that the arc is from C to B. Well, looking at that, we know that all we have to do is if we double the angle, we get the arc. So if we take 46 and we double that, we get 92 degrees, and that's the measure of the arc from C to B. Now, where do we go from there? That's the only thing we were given, right? Not quite. We were also given that. What is that? Well, that is a right angle, and a right angle means that this is 90 degrees right there. So how does that help us? Well, think about it. That 90 degrees is being formed from these two segments inside of our circle, which means that this is the arc that 90 degrees is creating, because it is a inscribed angle, right, from a point on the circle. And you'd say, all right, well, if we take 90 and we double it, we get 180 degrees, which tells us a few interesting things. First off, we can now say that AB is officially a diameter because it has an arc of 180 on one side. And we know automatically that if one side is 180, bam, the other side also has to be 180 degrees. Well, if we know that this part of the 180 is 92, all we have to take is just 180, subtract the 92, and that'll give us the remaining portion of the arc. So we should end up with 88 degrees as the other section. All right, so if we know that one part is 92, here's 88, whole thing adds up to 180. Okay, and then we could find the resulting inscribed angle right there, which is going to be half of 88, so in other words, 44. Okay, another way you could have found that is you know that all angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, and you could have alternatively found it that way. Alright, so the arc from B to C is our red arc, 92 degrees. Measure of angle CBA we just found was that 44 degrees in blue. Alright, the measure of arc from A to C is also our arc, or blue arc there, so 88 degrees. And the measure of arc from A to B we found was 180 degrees. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.